Hello, everyone in podcast land. I'm David.
I'm Jono.
And this is the podcast where everything's off the top of my head, off the bottom of my feet, and right up the boo-ha.
My bum.
This is the Let's Wing It podcast, where we talk about things that are a true treat.
Yeah.
Including such films as John Wick 4.
What's it called? I can't remember what the
John Wick.
John Wick 3 was Parabellum.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah.
John Wick 1, 2, 3, 4.
John Wick 4, the movie that started off as an indie film that became bigger than anything else combined, and it made Shazam look really bad.
Well, I don't know if you saw that TikTok of Zachary Levi looking like a fucking loose.
Oh, no.
We'll talk about that.
Oh.
We're also going to talk about our experience watching the Apple TV Plus show called Shrinking.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Yeah, we will talk about it.
I'm on episode 8, but
I finished.
Yeah.
You should go finish.
Yeah, I know. But just the last episode is pretty heavy.
It's fine. We can talk about that.
I know. Yeah.
But before we do that, why don't we eat some sauce?
Some wings?
Well, some chicken nuggets. But.
Chicken nuggets, yeah.
Okay, tell me what the sauce is.
So the sauce is called Fiorella's Jack Stack barbecue sauce. My brain went to steak.
Jack Stack steak.
Jack Stack barbecue sauce.
It's pretty red looking.
Dink it,
and sink it. Barbecue sauce. That's nice. Not too sweet.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I don't.
Okay. Screw you, Matthew Noonan. All right, that's Jack Stack barbecue.
Yeah, it's
We did it.
poo-poo.
All right, that's the tasting portion of the show.
Yeah.
Now let's get into one of two of the main events.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of John Wick 4?
John Wick 4?
John Wick 4.
John Wick 4. I will give it I fluctuated. But this is my final, settled. After a couple of days talking about it, especially after last night, because I think Belle, Jamie, and I think Plouffe watched it.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, how would you know? It was my birthday yesterday. At the time of recording. Send me money.
Yeah. Sign up for Patreon for today.
Yes, true. Sign up for Patreon. Shout out.
Patreon.com/Let's Wing It.
Let's Wing It.
But those guys, they were talking about it and they didn't like it. And they told me why. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It didn't really change my opinion too much about it. I think they just appreciated it differently than I did.
Okay.
Because actually, I watched 1, 2, and 3
right
before going into this.
I have no desire to do that.
I was fine. I'm fine with it. Yeah. I love my action movies, but I love it for a different reason, which we'll talk about it later. I give it a 8.5.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, give it 8.5.
High.
It's like my favorite movie so far this year.
There hasn't been too many movies this year, I don't think.
You know, it hasn't been too many, but the movies I've seen, I've watched so far, I'm like, it's really good. I think it is probably the best one since 1.
Okay. 1 is definitely my favorite.
1 is definitely good because it kind of opens everything up. So I would still go 1 really close, number 4, and then 3, then 2. I think 2 is the worst.
What is this plot of John Wick 4?
So because, there's a spoiler alert. So at the end of John Wick 3, he's current status of John Wick is that people think he's dead, but then they found out that his body was gone, and then the Bowler King took him, Lawrence Fishburne.
The hobo.
The Hobo King,
Yeah.
which is really cool. I thought that character was super cool. They kind of basing enough high John to get rehabilitated because he just got
injured, right?
Yeah, he got he fell at least 10 stories.
Jeez.
And he kind of he did the homer thing and just kept hitting things on the way down. Yeah. And that's why he didn't go splat. Yeah. That's one thing.
But he got injured.
Yeah, injured. So basing up to him, it's just getting full on revenge and trying to kind of get out at the same time. So he kind of goes on a world tour to kill as many people and just trying to achieve his objective. And also just kind of those subplots. Those are a couple of few subplots. So the really kind of cool thing is that he first goes after the elder, which you saw from number 3.
Okay.
Deaf and elder, whatever, probably actors, and just kills him.
Okay.
This is straight up, you won't change anything. You'll still be wanted, blah, blah, blah. This is not going to do anything.
You'll be dead.
Yeah. And he just basically just shoots him straight up. I'm like, oh. And it kind of in a weird way, it looked like an ending, but it's just oh, it's the beginning. Because it just opens up a whole shitstorm. Yeah. Which they said it was a shitstorm. I didn't really feel like it was a shitstorm. They just kind of hired a guy. The guy who played the clown in It.
Oh, Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah. So he's amazing. It's like super amazing. Basinoff hired him to kind of like take exact revenge on John Wick for killing the elder. Basinoff has like all authority of the High Table, which is the big elusive group, to just go hunt John Wick and kill everyone who has helped them. Because the little ad world building, I'm going to assume, is because the whole entire underworld is like kind of really suppressed by the High Table.
Yep.
John Wick is kind of like seen as a person like rebelling.
Yeah, against the order.
The order and stuff. So they want to like squash that and kill any notion of like, if this happens, blah, blah. It's a typical, like, that's a typical story about any underdog movie. And yeah, that's basically it.
It's long, isn't it?
It is, it's 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, 169 minutes.
How dare they?
No.
How dare they?
You want to hear another fucked up thing?
Give me a fucked up thing.
The original edit is 225 minutes.
Oh my God. How much talking is there?
It was actually a good amount. There's actually like
a lot of conversation?
Not like, it's definitely not like Dune level conversation, but it's like enough to go, okay, I got it. And I like there's one piece of dialogue in the middle that I adored, because it just kind of told like a story between 4 people and their desires of trying to do things, but how the system is rigged. Yeah. Because he obviously it's a card game and he rigs it.
Sure.
And everything. But it's great. Like, I really enjoyed everything about the movie.
Okay.
It felt some parts, yes. This is one thing that I think Bell and I think Plouffe and I think Jamie said, it just went on a bit too long.
Yeah. 3 hours is a little bit long for a dumb action movie.
It's not that dumb.
I haven't seen it, so you're right, I can't say, but I think all the expanded universe John Wick stuff is like,
it's cool.
It's kind of cool. Like, if it was a video game, and like you go to the merchant at the hotel and like he gives you a little bit of story, but like, oh, it's kind of like a little bit of cool world building. But I feel like I kind of just got tired of it in the John Wick movies. And I feel like the container that they're wrapping the story or the action in has appealed to me less and less each each episode. But
it is kind of weird because like how I kind of viewed the whole series is like, let's just take it into like pro esports.
Mm.
So let's just say copper is lowest, diamond is highest.
Sure.
So it's like the first one is like a retired diamond player fighting against like copper, silver, gold.
Yeah,
players.
just fucking everyone.
Just like
up.
pub stomp. Like he got a Smurf account and pumps like stomped on everyone. And the people he struggled against, he wouldn't have struggled against if he was like
still
John Wick 4. Yeah. John Wick 2 is kind of like showing that he's getting back in the groove. He's playing against some like gold like, like higher. And 3 is like, okay, he's starting to hit like platinum a little bit because like Zero was in there and he's kind of like a fanboy, but he's not quite as good.
Yep.
But this one's like full on. This is like platinum or maybe just below platinum players. And
that's
it's just,
fun.
It's like super cool because you have John Wick, or I guess you have Keanu Reeves, you have Donnie Yen.
Oh, cool.
You have 2 other people, I can't remember their names, but Donnie Yen was like,
I do like Donnie Yen.
He's cool, but he's blind. It's kind of weird.
Again?
They made him a blind. Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, they made him a blind swordsman / also shoot, like he had a gun too.
I wonder why that both in Star Wars and this.
I think because he's too OP'd.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's really good. Even when he was quote unquote blind, he was like, damn, like, are you sure you're blind?
Yeah.
But it's just like the dialogue, story, styling, how they made it feel really big.
What's like the standout action set piece for you? Because really that's what the John movies are about, is giving you some sick fights.
I think just for the complication. Okay, let me explain. I watch action movies very differently. I love it because of like, for me, I'm thinking producer brain. Okay, how did the director like shoot this? How did the cinematographers like all like do all this shoots? Like this is like insane. I think the Arc de Triomphe, the Paris one, and him in the car was amazing because like they did car stunts that turn into traffic stunts and also just like even more like car crash stunts too. and also on top of that, shooting. And plus a dog.
Cool.
That was good because Halle Berry sucked.
She's in it?
No, she was not.
She's in 3?
She's in 3. She was terrible in 3.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like it's like their career took the worst possible turn. She was on top of the world. She was so respected. And then
she was in Monster.
James Bond.
No.
Die Another Day or Tomorrow. Yeah, Die Another Day.
I think Catwoman just fucked her.
I think Catwoman is after. Catwoman's 2003, I think. And
I think James Bond wasn't too bad.
So I'll go on record saying that Die Another Day is my favorite Pierce Brosnan James Bond.
Which one's that one?
That's the really shitty one. So it starts in North Korea and he's been tortured for a year.
I like that one. That was good.
And so it's got the cringiest stuff. Like it's got the guy who has the diamonds encrusted in his face.
Yeah.
But then it's the white British guy. Spoilers for Die Another Day.
He's a North Korean.
Yeah. So the British guy, he's a North Korean general who's had like surgery.
He literally got white face.
Yeah. And there's just some really bad CG. Like he windsurfs on a CG. And there's that's the one that has the invisible car.
Yeah.
And so he's like floating on the invisible car.
Now I'm like, yeah, this is great. Now I'm going like, ooh.
But the reason I love it is that it's so bad that it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Whereas all the other Pierce Brosnan movies kind of just are stuck in between being silly Roger Moore movies and self-serious Timothy Dalton ones.
Yeah, because like GoldenEye was really good.
I like GoldenEye. I think it's kind of too long and the last 30 minutes kind of boring. I like GoldenEye. I like Tomorrow Never Dies, which is the newspaper baron who's like, I'm going to control all the news.
Yeah.
TV, cable news, and newspaper. That's the future.
You know what I actually took away from that movie the most is him one-handed typing.
Yeah, and then there's The World Is Not Enough. I might have inverted them, but The World Is Not Enough is the one with Sophie Marceau.
That was a good one.
That's a pretty decent one, and she's great, and it's got the villain who can't feel anything because he has like a bullet through his brain. And he's a good villain, but he's just in the wrong movie.
Which one?
Renault, I think is his name or something. But he got shot, and so he doesn't feel pain.
Yeah.
So he's a great henchman because he ends up being not the villain. You think he is, but he's not.
No, you thought he was like the main villain, like
but then it turns out Sophie Marceau
because she seduced him. She like
and I love that. But I mean, like, I like the Pierce Brosnan movies fine, but he's probably my least favorite James Bond, other than George Lazenby because he doesn't really count. But
who?
George Lazenby. He did one. So he did On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So he was an Australian model.
That one.
He's
Australian playing a British.
So he's a model.
Wow.
He's not an actor, and he fucking sucks. He looks cool. Like he kind of has like a Cary Grant look.
Yeah.
But he sucks. That movie could have been great.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do. Like, I would really want the woman who was No Time to Die.
Oh, LaShonda Lynch?
Yeah, I want her to, like, just keep going with it.
I was talking to Cassie about that.
Yeah. I want her to be 007.
I would be fucking pumped.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's an audience the same size as there was for Daniel Craig with LaShonda Lynch leading the franchise?
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, I think that's unfortunate. I think, like, there could be, and it would take time to build it, because even, like, Casino Royale was a big movie, but it was only at Skyfall that hit critical mass, and like that's when it broke $1 billion.
Really? So, was it Skyfall?
Skyfall is like one of the highest grossing James Bond movie ever, I think. Still,
it is a great movie.
It's a very good movie. It has big flaws, but it's very, very good.
Yeah.
And I think like you have to accept that when you switch to a new James Bond, it takes a little bit to build speed again. And I don't want them to make her James Bond. I don't want her to be like, I'm James Bond. Jane Bond. Like, I don't want stupid shit like that, but as 007, carrying forward the world of MI6, like, I'm into that. I think she's awesome, and I really enjoyed a lot of her stuff. I almost think that they should do a TV show, but I also feel like that's kind of such a cop-out, where you're like, it's the world of James Bond, but it's not, the same level.
I would give it a shot. If I was, like, which studios? Paramount? Okay, so MGM.
Amazon bought MGM.
Oh, yeah. So if I was Amazon, I would literally...
Fuck. Oh, God. I feel so sick. Oh, Amazon owns James Bond.
Get to get that money. No, I think if I was Amazon, I would literally roll the dice and just try it out. Because okay, we need it to be just as hard as Daniel Craig movies, but new character, new style. But just like we need it, we can't go soft on it. Like,
oh yeah, you can't like, tiptoe around it. And I think that they were trying to feel out what the next move was in No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Spoilers for No Time to Die.
Yeah.
I think both Ana de Armas and Lashonda Lynch.
Yeah.
They were both like, maybe we can like, continue the franchise with both of them. And I've heard rumors they're interested in making.
That'd be such a cool buddy cop.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Because everyone loves Ana de Armas and she's awesome in that show.
She's going to be in a John Wick spinoff called, I think, Ballerina. And Keanu Reeves is actually going to be in there.
That's cool.
But just as a cameo.
She has an Apple TV movie coming out with
Ghost
Evans. Yeah.
That looks so good.
I don't know. There's a lot of really bad CG in the trailer.
Yeah, but I think I think it's literally Chris Evans, like, this is his honeymoon phase. Like, I'm just going to do what the fuck I want.
Yeah, he probably made like $20 million to just show up for a week or some shit.
Oh yeah, for that movie, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't even think he's doing that much action, and it seems like Ana de Armas is like the action hero.
No, there's a part where he like I think he like starts getting in the groove. Like he does.
You're right.
There's definitely like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith moment.
So he'll unlock his latent abilities.
But he's probably still terrible at shooting and everything. But yeah, I would love to watch Anna and
Lashonda Lynch.
Yeah,
like, that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, they'll just that'd be
and she
so
just
cool.
wears like, I can see Lashonda Lynch just wearing like such a dapper tuxedo, and she's just such a womanizer. I don't know. I can't remember if the character is coded gay or not, but I think.
Well, I mean, she will do whatever it takes to accomplish the mission.
Yeah, and I mean, like I love in Skyfall they imply that James Bond has had sex with men, and he's like, yeah,
gotta do it.
Because like Raul Silva, I think is his name. He's like kind of like teasing him like sexually.
Yeah,
and he's like, What makes you think this is my first rodeo? And it was such a like, ooh,
spicy.
And so I love that they gave him that sexual power, and hopefully they do the same thing with Lashonda Lynch. I think it would actually be really fun to switch the power dynamic and have her be whatever the equivalent of being a womanizer is for men, a manonizer, and she just like.
I think it's like a man killer. I think it's called a man killer.
A man eater. Man eater,
yeah.
And she just like sleeps with these fucking bimbo men and they like get fucking covered in gold and shit. Like that would be awesome. I would fucking love that. But she can't be James Bond.
No.
She has to be 007 in the world. She can carry a ton of the traditions forward. But it's just like as soon as her name is Bond, it'll be like,
Yeah, just be like, just call it double. Just, you know what? Just get rid of James Bond for now.
Yeah.
Just retire the name. Just call it 007.
Yeah, 007, the future is now. Whatever the fucking.
Yeah. But here's the problem. The whole problem with this movie. Well, it's not really a problem, at least from our side. But like the right wing will attack it. Be like, this is the most woke James Bond ever. Blah, blah, all the bullshit. But I think it would probably still be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, woke is such a bullshit word that is.
It is a terrible word.
It's just everything that the right doesn't like. They'll just lump under woke and be like, that's the issue. But it's like, there's a million different issues that you're trying to simplify and make seem like they're actually an issue. But it's like really it comes down to representation. And to me, the big realization I had, because I used to be like, rings of power, like, well, like, you can like. Do you need the people of color in these roles? But I realized pretty quickly that as soon as you start thinking about it, who fucking cares about the consistency of a universe more than fixing a real world problem?
Yeah.
A real world problem is representation in media. That is a real fucking issue facing our world today. And we need to make steps. We need to progress in that way. Who the fuck cares if the elves are black?
Yeah.
In Tolkien verse or not, we need to address the issue. So is your not stupid, is your fantasy lore more important than a real world issue?
Honestly, no. God, like when watching Rings of Power, I haven't finished it. I think I'm at like 4 episodes in.
It's fine. It's not a great show. It's fine.
When I watch, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, oh, like everyone's like black elves. I was like, what's wrong with that? I watch it and I'm like, this is fine.
So quickly you just forget about it. You're just like, oh yeah, there's like these precursor hobbits. Yeah, there's there are all these different cultures. There are like these races. That's cool.
And like the new Little Mermaid, I can't remember what her name
Halle Berry.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it.
It's fine. She has a great voice.
Who fucking cares? And people are like, well, no, they just cast her for that. No, maybe they cast her because she has a great voice. You hear her sing, and you're like, that's a little fucking mermaid, man.
Her music is so good. Her and sister, I love the music.
To it.
It's actually great.
Yeah, but she sounds spot on for the role.
Yeah.
And like, I I don't fucking care about consistency with a Disney movie from 1988 or 89.
Who cares?
Who fucking cares? It is not a cultural.
Yeah.
It's not like it is such a corporate of thing that you grew up with, but it is not like a piece of art that in 200 years we're gonna like look at in a museum and be like, wow, Little Mermaid, that really changed the game. Yeah. That's a really important cultural touchstone. That's a really important artistic message that like shifted the way that people in that era saw art.
Yeah.
No, it's a corporate piece of fucking mass media.
Yeah.
That is not more important than representation in cinema. Who the fuck cares?
Here's the thing is I think like Disney probably wins there because they're like, oh, we put like, I'm really being blatant. We put someone black as Ariel, and then it's going to spark all this like media attention from both sides because right's going to attack it, left's going to defend it, and guess what?
We're talking about it.
We're going to talk about it.
We're talking about it now.
Yeah.
Why would not fucking talk about The Little Mermaid at all?
Yeah, exactly.
If it wasn't for this issue. Yeah. So it works.
And then right wing will watch it because they go, oh, we're going to like fucking like ruin this movie. Left people are going to watch it because, you know, it's great.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, I don't know if the movie's going to be great. It's still a live action Disney remake.
Oh, God.
That's the thing, too. We need to stop fucking caring because it's still going to, like, at the end of the day, it's going to be a shitty corporate movie that doesn't exist to tell a story or, you know, share some human truth.
Yeah.
It exists to make Disney $1 billion. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. No, well, here's the thing is that Bob Iger's back. Yeah. So praise Bob Iger.
Praise Bob Iger.
Please, because you made Disney cool and then you left and then the replacement
got
fucked
so
it up.
bad, yeah.
And then hopefully if you come back to kind of go like, we're making a lot of money, but we're making a lot of money in bad ways.
Well, it's interesting. Like one of the first things he said when he came back was, we're going back to quality over quantity because I think Disney Plus, they'd been so concerned about getting enough content to make it worth it. But it was interesting seeing the Google Trends. Someone posted a photo of the Google Trends when you search all the Star Wars shows. And Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2 are these huge spikes.
Yeah.
But then all the other Star Wars shows coming out, and there are all these little blips.
Yeah.
And then Mando Season 3 is now a little blip. It's like, because they oversaturated the TV, the Star Wars TV market, no one fucking cares. Yeah. And it sucks. Andor is a great show, and it deserves more praise than The Mandalorian ever got.
I thought it did get a lot of praise.
It got praise from fans, but it didn't get the recognition in the same way that The Mandalorian did. Like, The Mandalorian crossed over and was a huge mainstream hit. Andor's still kind of like a weird niche.
I think Boba Fett
in terms of Star Wars.
Everything.
Yeah, they really fucking killed the momentum because they were like, we're going to take the iconography of Mandalorian and none of the charisma of what's happening. We're
the only reason why I watched Boba Fett was like, just watching the Mandalorian parts, like the 1.5 episodes.
Oh yeah.
You're like, it's great.
I love Baby Yoda.
Let's go.
So I watched the first couple episodes of the new season of
I
The
watched
Mandalorian.
1.5.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's like, I always feel like the Mandalorian was always fine.
Yeah, I just wish Baby
Yoda.
Yeah, Baby Yoda never came back.
Because so at the end of Season 2, Luke Skywalker takes him.
Yep.
And so in Boba Fett, he comes back.
Yep.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah, he comes back.
That's a fucking mistake.
Yeah, it's
to have that conclusion of the storyline be done there.
Yeah, because Mandalorian was trying to like find him a little bit, or at least try to give him a gift.
Okay.
Right? It's like, hey, because I miss you.
I love you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Baby Yoda and Luke was training, but Baby Yoda kept getting distracted because he's really attached to Mando. And then Luke was like, you have a choice: stay here, become a great Jedi Master, or
stay with Mando.
Yeah, Mando. And then he just does stupid Star Wars like little star swipe thing. And then you're like, he's fucking gonna go back.
Yeah.
And then he goes back.
Stupid, because that was a good moment at the end of Season 2. I was like, oh wow, like, we get to have a bunch of Luke Skywalker, like this training, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then at the end of Season 3, you're like, did that ever happen? Was that a dream?
Yeah,
because they're just exactly where they fucking were.
Yeah, because I remember watching the beginning of Episode 2, at least a little bit, Episode 2, and it's like, oh, you can see now it's like, it's kind of like Banjo-Kazooie a little bit. Like him, like, you just see Mando kicking ass, and then he just like uses the Baby Yoda like
for the one ability.
One ability, you're like,
yeah. Well, and I find I do not care about the story.
Yeah.
I think the strength of that show for me is the world and like the texture of it. They do a really good job, like these new creatures or like a lot of the special effects are obviously extraordinary, but there's like a beast cyborg creature in I think the first or second episode.
I think the second episode.
Yeah, and I was like, this is really cool. This is actually like a really cool, still Star Warsy cartoony thing.
Yeah,
but it's really menacing and it's really intense. And then they like change the stakes of how it moves. And you're like, okay, well now it's like more of a Baby Grogu level thing. But then okay, and I thought there was like really clever uses of that universe.
Yeah,
but then it's just I don't fucking care about like.
Yeah,
I have to become a pure Mandalorian. I gotta redeem myself.
I just wish it's like, okay, cool. Like like that part. Maybe it's because I have a problem with religion. I'm just like, dude, it would be so much more cooler that okay, you're a Ronin style Mandalorian now, and then sometimes you do like one or two like crazy missions for them, so you can kind of like still get your armor kind of upgraded and cool.
Yeah, that was cool when it's like almost a video game.
Yeah,
I also think. And maybe I'm alone in this. I'd be interested, audience, what you think. Having a whole tribe of Boba Fett's is really fucking stupid. It's like, why do they all fucking look like Boba Fett? It's stupid.
It's just a Mandalorian culture.
It's stupid. And it's like clearly so creatively bankrupt on Star Wars' behalf to be like, okay, what's a character people like? Okay. I made a whole tribe of people that have the Boba Fett helmet. Just like different colors. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, it would be so much cooler if the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, who I doubt is still inside that suit. I think he just does the voice acting now. I strongly doubt they're paying enough money, or they find it worth it to put him in that suit anymore. I don't have any proof, but I have a feeling.
I think I will probably go against that just because I just watching Pedro Pascal, just how he is. He's probably doing it.
I also think it was cute. The first season that he's always in the suit, but they should have kept it a story reason why he now can keep his helmet off, because I don't find I don't find these helmets engaging. I'm looking at fucking Star Wars figurines. Cool.
Yeah. No, I think to me it was so cool, and then it was really heart-wrenching and sad when he had to take his helmet off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
that was great.
Like, but he did it because he loved the kid and he wanted to like succeed. But yeah, like I think now it just kind of like it feels so forced. It's like, it's literally what you're talking about. It's like this is like Jon Favreau going, just holding an action figure, going, okay, now Mando's gonna do this.
Yeah, and
he goes, go pew pew.
Yeah, and I think the best episodes are ones that have political. I mean, I love Star Trek, but like. The episode in season 2 that I was like, oh, maybe I do like the show was the one with Bill Burr. Strangely enough.
The Prison Break.
Yeah, and I was like, there's like stakes and characters and like emotional, there's emotional stakes to what's happening.
Yeah.
Whereas like I think I watched 3 episodes. I just couldn't care fucking less.
Yeah.
And it's like, the stuff that's happening is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And like, coming to this underground Mandalorian, like Boba Fett city, it looks cool. And there's like decent action, I guess, but like I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And they really, I think, are relying way too much on the iconography to make me invested. But
yeah, I think hopefully enough Bob Iger just kind of fixes it up. But I do want to just kind of go back to John Wick 4.
Okay.
Just to kind of sum it up.
Yeah.
I love it. It's based up, you know what it is? Like I was just thinking about it right now. It's like the world of luxury fashion in an action movie, which is literally true because they're all wearing suits. Yeah. They're all wearing suits that they look fucking awesome. Winston looks cool. Lance Reddick was really cool in it. Like, rest in peace, Lance.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I really miss you. Bill, all those guys. They just look so cool.
And I think that, that's something John Wick's gotten better at, his style. Because the first one had style, but it was like kind of half committed to its style.
Yeah,
well, it gets more and more styling as it
because after 2, during 2 and maybe a little bit after, the suits became more prevalent because it became body armor for them.
Yeah.
So there was more parts to it. But okay, I've said everything I love about the show. Here's what I didn't like. It's kind of hitting true on the action part. Mm-hmm. Definitely every single section of fights, because number 2 and number 3, number 3 especially, was just like a constant barrage of action and very little breaks. Mm-hmm. This one felt really good pacing of buildup, but the down of our action just experience all the excitement just went on like probably 2 to 10 minutes, depending on which one you're talking about. Too long. Because definitely those are parts that you can feel like you're like, oh, okay, cool. He's finished the stage. Nope, there's more. There's more. Like
some dude
just
crowds out from the back.
Yeah, so I think it's, to me, I think I was fine with it because I felt that. I'm like, ooh, they should have stopped it there.
Yeah.
But hey, you know,
it's still fun.
I'm still gonna watch it because it's just crazy, and he put so much work into it. Because I think I just had the admiration of like them just doing so much.
Yep.
I think the story was fantastic though. Just
fantastic.
Like, yeah,
that's
just
strong. That's strong words.
Because they have so much symbolism.
Okay.
There's one scene at the end where he's like, they say like in the radio going 218 steps to your destination. And it's him just fighting uphill.
That's fun.
Yeah, just fighting uphill. Donnie Yen helps him out eventually, but there's like moments of like, it's kind of like, have you watched Old Boy?
Oh yeah,
the original Korean one. So it wasn't like a one shot, but you can see that symbolism. Yeah, him going up and then him getting kicked back down and going back up, and like those like constant flow. Cool.
I think that's so important for a good action scene is like clear physical stakes and like clear use of the physical space. Like I hate fight scenes that could take place anywhere. Yeah. And it's like I think that the space should help tell the story and progress the action and stuff. And so that's cool.
So I think it's perfect. Like I think it's like, to me, it's the perfect action movie.
You're crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, just the fact that like from like anyone who wants to make an action movie needs to watch all of the films and kind of just like, not because of the story or whatever, but you can see like, okay, this movie has now raised the stakes for all future action movies.
I do have to see this. It's tough not doing the movie podcast because it used to be I have to see it, and so I'd force Cassie to go see those movies with me. Yeah. So like Creed, John Wick, and another thing, I was like, let's go see them because like I'm not really interested in them. So like I could go by myself, or I should just call you.
Shit, I should have just
because I do want to see them. But
well, we're gonna watch, I think, D&D's this weekend.
Yeah, D&D's this
weekend. So we'll go watch that.
Hell yeah!
You want to go to the one in Guildford or the one over here?
Either or. I have a Cineplex membership, so I get free tickets at Cineplex.
I think I have some gift certificates.
Sure.
Anyways, we'll figure it out. But I think just as you know, this is a spoiler. Like, do you care?
For John Wick?
Yeah.
No, I don't care.
Okay, cool. So at the end, it's kind of like they trick Bill guy. Well, they call him the Marquis, and he dies, and then John Wick dies from his wounds.
Does he actually die?
He actually died.
Cool. That's really cool.
Which I was like, at first I was like, oh, and I was like, no, I
can dig it.
I'm like, no, this is good. And then I remember I watched it. I left the theater before the end credits, but I was watching it with my dad.
Okay.
Which is so funny. Beginning of the week, he's like, I want to see an action movie because I love action. Action is great. I'm like, we're going to go watch John Wick.
Perfect.
So I watch it with him. And at the end of the movie, he's like, I'm tired. I'll go home. So
it's 3 hours of fucking action,
it's action.
Dude.
He's like, I'm like, did you like? He's like, it's really good.
I'm tired. I want to go home.
So I skipped the end credits scene.
Totally fair.
But apparently there's a part in the movie Donnie Yen kills this other person, like the mutual friend. And the mutual friend had a daughter. Daughter's coming back for revenge.
Sure.
Well, whatever. It's great. But yeah, it just felt so good. It just felt so satisfying.
I love conclusions.
Yeah.
I hate when things are left open-ended because they're just like, well, maybe we'll want to come back and make more money.
Yeah, that's the one thing is that I didn't like John Wick 3 for that reason. Because I was under the impression, I went in because they're like, John Wick 3 would be the end. I'm like, oh,
It totally felt like it was going to be the end. For sure.
And then they're like, well, whoopsie, he survives. I was like, oh.
There's nothing worse than something going on longer than it should. And I think 4 movies is fine for John Wick. I am excited to see it, and I think that's fine. But like Cobra Kai, I fucking loved Cobra Kai. And now there's fucking 5 seasons. There's a 6th season coming out.
Really?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I stopped watching after season 3.
Yeah, I think that show, if it was 3 seasons and it ended with Johnny and Daniel becoming best friends, teaming up, and then their dojo wins. Yeah. And like that's the 3-season arc.
Yeah.
It could have been like one of the great underappreciate shows and just like such a crowd-pleasing, fun show.
And then Netflix fucked it.
And then there was a season 4, and it's the same shit happens again. And then there's a season 5. I haven't even watched it. I have almost no interest in watching until I know they're done.
Yeah.
I don't want them to fucking like, oh, are Daniel and Johnny going to be friends? Almost. Oh no, they're not. They're enemies again.
I think the only really cool thing I like that whole show, which I've really admire, is I didn't think I liked her at first, and then I really grew attached to her. Is Peyton List.
She's
the kind of like
Cobra Kai love interest.
Yeah. She's like she was the kind of like the bad girl.
Yeah, I like her too.
Yeah, she's like she's like surprised me. I was like, oh, she's like so boring.
Okay, who's on 3? We'll say our least favorite character in the show.
I can't remember her name.
The LaRusso girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
She sucks.
No, she was really good the first season, and then she got like progressively worse.
Well, she just like has these. She's cruel. She's mean.
Yeah.
And I think like Peyton List, her character, she's quote unquote bitchy in some ways.
Yeah.
But like she's fighting for her life every day of her life.
Yeah, because like her parents are
absentee. Yeah,
yeah.
And so she's like, doing whereas what I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah.
Cindy LaRusso. Who cares?
Whatever. Stupid bitch.
She is spoiled
and
a brat, and she just gets everything she wants, and she's complaining all the time, and she's like, I think the show wants us to think that she's a good guy. But she's like arguably like the biggest villain in the show.
Whatever that guy.
That's not true. There's
whatever the guy's name.
John Kreese?
No, not John Kreese. The original guy that Johnny was teaching. Do you know?
Oh, Miguel.
Miguel? It's like, Miguel, should have dumped that bitch. Just stay with Peyton List.
Well, like, I mean, they ran out of good places to take the story, and so they kind of just loop around on the same shit again. And like, that show, I mean, spoilers for season 2 or 3 of Cobra Kai, the battle royale at the school was like the most insane in the good way shit I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And then Miguel breaks his back, and like that is like the best Act 2 break ever. So at the end of Act 2 in a movie, in most stories, that's like the low point. It's like you have this false victory, and then like this crushing low point.
Yeah.
Before the heroes regroup and kind of learn from their failings and have their kind of like last moment before they they finish the arc.
Yeah.
And that would have been such a good dark moment of like low. It's the low point. Like he broke his back. Like will he ever recover? And if the next season was him, learning to walk again, but like realizing that karate is important, but it's about friendship and love.
Yeah.
And he teaches he teaches Johnny's kid, who has kind of gone off the rails, to be good.
I totally forgot about him.
Like there was so much they could have done to like close it, and then they just kept fucking going.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's money.
This is not the Cobra Kai.
The money.
Yeah, the Netflix. Yeah. When they know people are watching, but I can't imagine that show many people are watching anymore.
I'll be honest. I'll shout out to YouTube, the YouTube originals. That is the only reason why I bought premium.
Same.
Yeah.
I was so curious.
Yeah. I was like, oh, what's this? And I bought premium, and then I haven't stopped buying premium since.
Well, honestly, that might be the last service on the chopping block. If I cut off every service, YouTube Premium might be the last one.
I would just keep YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just everything else. Like, I can pirate anything.
Yeah,
but what YouTube Premium offers me, I can't really replicate because I'm not gonna fucking pirate YouTube videos.
Because sometimes I have forgotten to switch my account because I have like 4 accounts.
Oh yeah.
Not just Let's Wing It. I have my bifurcated, whatever. But my YouTube Premium's on my main account, and sometimes I forget, and I start watching. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah.
There's like so many ads. I'm part of the problem because I've told people the best practices to make more money on YouTube. I'm like, you have to enable everything.
Yeah.
But it's like, like this is the best reason why you should get YouTube Premium.
100%. And I think what really sells me on it too is like I used to have Spotify.
Yeah.
And I just got rid of that because YouTube Music, it's not as good.
Yeah.
But it's fine. And it has all the same songs. It's just the playlist creating algorithms aren't quite as sophisticated.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I usually just look up albums to play and I play the albums and it's fine.
Yeah.
But then that's included in my YouTube Premium. I pay like $20 for a family plan. I have 4 friends with me that I pay their YouTube Premium and I pay for their YouTube Music for $20 a month. It's fucking.
You pay for them?
Well, I just paid $20, yeah. And I was like, I don't care.
Is it like Cassie,
Zoe? I think Riley's on it, and then I have a friend.
Riley?
Yeah,
Fuck
he's
Riley.
supposed to make coffee, but he never fucking does. It's fine.
That bitch makes him enough money.
It's fine. I don't really care.
Riley, if you're listening to this, you're a bitch.
I don't think Riley's listening to this.
He might be on.
Yeah, at some point that'd be really good.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's John Wick 4.
John Wick 4 plus Mandalorian plus Cobra Kai
plus something else.
I would
a bit of James Bond.
I would say
you would say it's worth watching?
Oh, 100%. I would I'm actually one of my most excited things I'm thinking about is that I will buy the Blu-ray box edition.
You're a fucking loser.
Because I just want to make sure I can find the cut. Like, I hopefully enough he releases it.
Oh, the 4 hour.
The 4 hour John Wick. Because I will watch the shit out of that.
I mean, fair enough. Like, there's sometimes I want content just to fill time.
Yeah.
And so having extra scenes that probably aren't as good.
Yeah.
But like, I still will enjoy. Like, sure.
Yeah. Because I also talked to one of my Twitch friends. Oh, she was a viewer that we became friends.
Oh, that's cool.
Emma. She's studying. She's getting
shout out Emma.
Emma. She might become a script supervisor. I was like,
cool.
Yeah, it's like, so basically it's like continuity.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should watch this because like, holy shit, like if you can master like a level of script supervising in this movie, you'll be fine. Because it's like, oh, bloodstain at the left there. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, I would give it 8.5. Actually, you know what, talking to you, 8.8.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because there's definitely like 1 or 2 parts on
it. That's John Wick 4. I will see it eventually. I'll get my thoughts when we get there.
John Wick 4.
But something we both watched.
Oh, you've completed it.
I've completed it. You're episode 8.
I'm I think 80% there.
80%. So we won't talk about the last 2 episodes, at least not in specific detail.
Yeah.
But the show is Apple TV's latest show. The season finale just aired this week, which I didn't realize because it's just
really
fortuitous timing. Yeah. Shrinking. Hello, people from the past. This is David from the future. The thoughts that we have on Shrinking are very high. We really like the show.
Yeah.
Johnny, you highly recommend it as well?
100%.
Before you listen to our thoughts, you should go watch it.
Just pause it.
Just pause this episode. Go watch it. Apple TV, download it. Do whatever. It's a great show. Highly, very funny, very touching, very easy to watch because it doesn't fall into like really shitty tropes. And now we're back. Starring Jason Segel, Harrison Ford, and some other great actors I don't know the names of, like Jordan from... Actually, a few people from Scrubs, because Bill Lawrence
is the executive producer
of Scrubs, and he did some Ted Lasso episodes as well.
Yeah, no, he's the executive producer of Ted Lasso.
Great.
Yeah. So right now, Bill Lawrence, like I've loved Bill Lawrence's stuff ever since Scrubs. Like I was the first initial fan of Scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, I think I watched it back in 2007, 2008.
Sure.
I was in Mexico.
Oh, fun.
I was too drunk.
And you're like, I just need to
sit down and watch something, and I just turned on. I'm like, what's this funny show?
Love Scrubs. And I think it holds up pretty well. I think the narration's a little bit cringy, but I think it's fine. I think it's funny still.
It's funny, but there's some topics are like, ooh, you can't say that now.
Oh, that's fair. But I think that's pretty normal of that.
Yeah, it's like
a lot of shows, like 30 Rock, I think is one of the best sitcoms of all time. But they've delisted one of the episodes where I think Tina Fey does blackface.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's her or another character, but there's definitely blackface in the episode.
Yeah.
So they just delisted it.
Yeah. Those something the Tina Fey show I will talk about after this, but to me, Shrinking, I wanted to watch it, but I wasn't. Here's the thing: is that I'm like that kind of weird stubbornness that everyone goes watch it, just like everything all at once, whatever.
Everything ever all at once.
Yeah. Everyone's like, I gotta watch. Fuck you! I don't want to watch it.
You're only hurting yourself.
I know. No, but even my dad has watched.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest movies of the last 10 years. Maybe one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, I understand it. I want to watch it. I think I'll just save it for when I'm feeling low or something, and I'll watch it. But I didn't want to watch it until Jillian was like going, we should watch this. I was like, and then I kind of went to another room, and then she started watching it, and I just kind of like peeked in. I'm like, what's going? What's good? And yeah, it's fantastic.
It's fucking amazing.
Well, actually, here's one thing with Apple TV. I love because I haven't really utilized Apple TV too much until recently. But man, whoever the Apple Studios, I'm just going to call it Apple Studios. They have done to a level of inclusion that I really appreciate. As in, just fucking don't talk about it. Just go, they're there and they are these kind of people and this is it.
I mean, I don't think that's true. I think like it is a talking point. I mean, so there's 3 main therapists. There's Jason Segel, who basically the premise of the show is he is a therapist.
I know. I'm talking about just in general Apple TV.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because another show, Loot.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, that one of the main characters is transgendered.
Cool.
Until Jillian pointed it out. I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for I didn't need to know that. But
yeah.
Cool.
But let's
yeah. But yeah, let's go back to tricking.
I didn't think I kind of had a sort of similar experience. Basically, I wanted to watch Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And so I have it on Plex, but it auto downloads.
Yeah.
And I went to play the episode and it was not playing, and I was like, fuck. Okay. And so I was like, okay, well maybe there's a free trial on Apple TV because I've had Apple TV before, and I was like, I'll just click the app, I'll see. And I went and I played Ted Lasso in the app, and it played, and I was like, wait, have I been paying for Apple TV this whole fucking time?
Oh no.
Which I haven't. But I started Cassie's account, which apparently at one point she went on a trial.
Actually, wait, no. Let's chat afterwards because I'm gonna be going to the States and getting Apple Family again to re-enable it.
Oh,
so
I'll just pay you.
I know. I mean, I don't care.
We'll see.
But yeah, I think I have one extra spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I watched Ted Lasso, and there was only one episode, and I was like, oh man. And we've kind of run out of TV shows because Poker Face ended. Cassie's not watching Picard. Last of Us is done. So we're like, we need a show.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ted Lasso's weekly, but we were like, okay, whatever. So we go through and we're like, oh, Shrinking. Yeah, I think I saw a trailer for that. That looks cool.
Yeah.
And we put it on. It's like one of my favorite shows I can remember.
Yeah.
And I think what Bill Lawrence has tapped into, and I think why Shrinking works so well, and so does Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I think Shrinking more than not is it demonstrates one of the hardest things to do in writing is by not having like villains. And Ted Lasso has villains, but Shrinking doesn't have villains. It's just people you like, you're cheering for, that make mistakes, that are human. But it's like, it's good people trying to do their best.
Yeah.
And that's a hard dynamic to write.
Yeah.
And it's a show that isn't constantly delivering you bad news and drama and like character tension because of shitty miscommunications. Yeah. It's these human situations that are like really relatable about, complex things like grieving your dead wife or, like your husband retiring and you have to deal with with the change in dynamics and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they talk about it. And there's moments where you're like, oh no, these two characters, they're going to go and fight. And it feels like there's tension for a bit, but then they communicate and they talk about it and they get better and then they're friends.
Yeah.
And you're like,
actually try to like verbally like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yes. And it's so fucking refreshing.
Yeah.
Because so many shitty shows, especially sitcoms, they have entire episodes driven by miscommunication that like could be solved by like everyone be like, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's just talk for a second.
It's literally, I always call it like, oh, could a smartphone fix all of this dilemma? Like most old like 90s and 2000 shows, like, oh, a smartphone or a cell phone at the very least could have fixed
or
everything.
Like even like someone is doing something and there's like 3 seconds where it's really questionable.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's when the other person's going to walk in. 3, 2, 1, door opens. Yeah. They saw the moment that was questionable. And now they're upset and like, well, wait. And then they run off and you're like, no, just fucking stay there for 10 seconds and ask for an explanation. Yeah. Let's work through this.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the episode I'm on, the daughter runs off because Jason Segel said something. And that's how the episode ended.
I think why it works is that they don't rely on that. And I think they solve those things pretty quick. A lot of the times where I'm like there was an episode early on where I can't remember their character's name, but the therapist friend,
Gia?
And Jordan from Scrubs, I can't remember her character's name.
Yeah.
They are like kind of at tension because Alice. So okay, let's give the premise of the show. The premise of the show is following Jason Segel, who's a therapist, whose wife died last year in a car accident.
Was it 1 year or those 2 years?
I think it was 1 year.
Oh, okay.
And so he's like, the show starts and he's doing drugs with like
Was he doing drugs?
With hookers.
Yeah.
And basically, he hasn't grieved. He's numbed. And there's a great line in the show that Harrison Ford delivers about like, he's like, I've been grieving this whole time. And Harrison Ford's like, you haven't grieved. You've just been numbing.
Yeah.
And it's like, so he's just kind of stuck in this place.
Yeah.
And the show follows him as he kind of snaps into consciousness and realizes what he's been like, what he needs to do, and how he's sort of abandoned his daughter to grieve and take care of herself. And he reconnects with her, reconnects with the people around him. Yeah. And it's just this great show and so much character growth from him. And it's a simple premise, but they do so much in the intercharacter relations. Yeah. And the way they communicate. And it's nice. Mm-hmm. And there's only one moment, and there's 2 moments in the show where I was worried. And one of them is his neighbor who's taking care of his daughter when he was totally absentee. Fuck. And she was amazing. Yeah. And later on, she's kind of nosy and whatever, and she like has her own toxic traits that she needs to deal with.
She has some quirks,
but she has been absolutely amazing. Yeah. And then his therapist friend, who was his wife's best friend. Yeah. And she's the godmother of Alice, his kid. But she also hasn't shown up in the way.
She was pretty absentee too.
And so it's like Alice's birthday or something. And so Jordan's character is there doing her rock polishing. And she's like, she's the one that's taking care of Alice. And Gia shows up and she's like, oh, like I'm here to take care of her. Thank you for doing your thing. But like, I'm here to take care of her. And she's like, oh, what'd you get her or whatever? It's like, oh, I got her a basketball. And she's like, oh, show me the basketball. And she's like, oh, no, it's over there in the car. And she's lying because she's been absentee as well. Like, she also dropped the ball.
Yeah, because the thing is that I think she's taking out her rage and shame on her for being absent.
Yeah, but it's also, Gia is also feeling the shame because she knows that she fucked up. Yeah. And she's trying to now overcompensate. And there's this moment where you're like...
No, it's not overcompensation. I just think that she's taking all that internal stuff and putting it on to Jordan. And that's like how she's trying to act out and trying to be like, oh, I'm cool.
I think part of what's going on inside of her is this guilt for failing to show up for Alice.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And so she's like, she's overcompensating. She's like, I'm going to take care of her now. I'm the godmother.
I'm good.
And then there's this moment of like, wait, do I not like Gia? Is she going to be like a secret bitch?
Yeah.
And like very quickly they address it and they talk to each other and then they're fucking best friends.
No, I think
it's like the next episode. They're like best friends.
I think it took 2 episodes.
The next episode, I think they get drunk together. And then they talk, and then they work through it.
Because there's so many moments like that, too. Because, like, even at episode 8 that I watched, it involves Jordan, too, funny enough, is that her husband was retiring in, like, 2 weeks. Yeah. And she's like, oh, why are you home? It's like, I took a day off. It's like, aren't you retiring in 2 weeks? Like, what are you going to do? Fire me? So, the thing is that her character, I'm just explaining for the viewer, is like, she's worried that because her husband's going to be home all day, and she's home all day, they need space. Yeah. So she explains this to him, which is really very mature. It's like, oh, I know you're going to be home. I love you, but we need each other's space. But then he rebutes. Like, rebuttals really perfectly. And Jillian and I were watching it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, this is so perfect. Good.
So he goes, I've been grinding for the last 30 years and you have been home. Yeah, I think it's time for you to find something because I deserve
to be home. Yeah. And he says it so well, like better than either you or I could do right now. Yeah. But it was like, oh, he's right because she's right. Yeah. Like she needs her space.
Yeah. He acknowledges that.
But it is not fair for her to ask him to stay out of the house with his hobby. And like they both need hobbies and they both recognize. And that's another thing I love in the show. Yeah. Is I expected him to be like a secret abusive piece of shit. Yeah. And like at any point I expected the ball to drop and be like, oh man, he sucks. He's great. He's like, he's like the nicest guy all the way through.
He's the perfect neighbor.
Yeah.
Because there is one kind of mutual enemy in the neighborhood is racist Pam.
Oh, racist Pam. Yeah. I fucking love that. When Jordan fucking stomps on her flowers.
Yeah. It's like, fuck you, racist Pam. Yeah. I think also my perfect part was like, because it was, I can't remember what the guy's name.
Jason Segel?
No, Jason Segel's patient.
Oh, Jason Segel's patient. Oh, Sean.
Sean. So like Sean was like walking in the neighborhood. Pam was giving him scuff.
Yeah, because he took out the garbage or whatever. And she's like, you don't live here. That's not your garbage.
Yeah, and then like, Jordan comes out, defends him. And then the husband comes up. It's like, oh, hey, Pam, what's up? It's like, we don't like her right now.
Yeah, eat a dick, Pam.
It's like perfect.
And like we've talked, I've praised the show about like good writing and great characters and like likability, but it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
I've laughed out loud so many times watching this show.
Yeah. But I think one thing we'll both not talking and acknowledging is fucking how awesome Harrison Ford is in this movie.
Holy shit.
In the show.
He's fucking awesome.
I'm just so, like, for me, I'm like, did Harrison Ford do this just for a paycheck and he's just kind of phoning it in? No, he's 100% committed.
Yeah. It's probably the most acting I've seen him do in God knows how long, maybe ever.
God, he did more acting in this than fucking Indiana Jones in the Crystal Skull.
This, complex emotions. And you see, like, he brings a lot of just dynamicism to it. And he's so funny. His dry humor works really well. Him and Jason Segel are such an unlikely pairing in the sense that they just are totally different species to me. Like they just don't connect. But they have such great chemistry. Everyone in the show has such great chemistry. And his dry wit versus Jason Segel, just like big, loosey-goosey goofball energy. Yeah. So fucking funny.
Yeah. I think it's just his character is so rooted.
Yeah.
That I appreciate it so much because of just the fact that he just talks in a way that I can relate. Going, that's a very realistic thing. Yep, I believe in that too. Mm-hmm. Oh, the doctor, one big thing was like because he has
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's?
Yep.
Okay. So he's cleared to drive by the DMV and the doctor. Obviously he can't. But I was thinking in my shoes, like I had to pause it. I'm like, if I had Parkinson's, would I be in the realm of if everyone said I could drive and someone said I couldn't drive, would I argue like that? Because everyone's like, oh, you hit my new Tesla or blah, blah, blah. I think in a way, secretly inside, I would probably be like, fuck you, I can drive.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of humility and wisdom to be like, I probably shouldn't drive. And I like that where he at first he resists because like I just passed the competency test.
Yeah.
I'm still good. And he goes and does it again.
Yeah.
And he passes and then he willingly gives it up. And I think like they do such a good job with his arc. They're all fantastic characters. There is no character in the show where I was like, man, there's not dimension to them. Cause like Sean, the husband of Jordan, he's probably like the most caricature. Like you don't get to see inside his mind very much.
No.
But he gets dimension at the right time.
Yeah.
But everyone else, all the main characters, they are such dynamic, full-bodied characters. Like they all have so much to offer. Yeah. And like, oh fuck,
even the daughter is like
she's amazing.
Like the actress there, she plays like she knows that character in and out and plays it perfect.
Well, and like I one of the things I really love about the show is when she at the beginning of the series, she's sort of left to fend for herself.
Yeah,
and like she has Jordan, her neighbor, to help her, but her dad is just fucking sucking. Like later on, she'll be like, "Oh, I had to clean your fucking cocaine off of this photo. Like, you were nothing."
Yeah,
and she's like an adult at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I love as Jason Segel kind of re-enters her life and starts taking care of her.
Yeah.
She gets to be a teenager again and almost like kind of the shitty ways. Like she's a rebel and she starts fighting against him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I fucking hate you. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is great. She gets to be a kid again. Like she doesn't have to hold on to that adulthood.
I think for you, because you're living with Cassie and Zoe. So you kind of like see that you're like, ooh, like,
100%.
Yeah. Like, ooh, yeah. I'm not trying to criticize anything, but you have more real life hands-on experience.
Yeah.
Than and most people that are listening to this or watching the show.
Probably.
But I think my favorite part though of like just like talking it out and fixing it, or at least eventually talking about fixing it or fairly quickly, is spoiler alert. I'm gonna just say it, is that Sean and the daughter. Sean's being very mature. And the daughter's obviously infatuated with him.
And that's been like kind of a tension that's been built up.
Yeah.
Like Gia and Jordan are making fun of Jason Segel, being like, oh, I remember like my Sean. Like, oh yeah, I gave him an aggressive hand job at the, like under the table.
Oh, no.
And he's just like, oh my God, no, not Alice.
Yeah. But then Sean was very mature, and this is I really applaud the decision to doing this instead of like going into full hormone and technically pedophilia.
Oh yeah, because the daughter's 17 and he's 22.
So I mean, like it's like close, but it's still not cool.
Well, and so in the show, Sean is a vet who's come back from Iraq or Afghanistan, and he has PTSD, and he basically is court mandated to go see Jason Segel, who's the therapist.
Well, he's technically a convict too.
Yeah, because a felon.
Felon, yeah.
Because he's having these violent episodes, like a dude shoves him at a bar and he kicks the shit out of him. Yeah. Like not just like gets into a bar fight. It's like he gets an inch within killing him, and so he's having all this trouble. And Jason Segel, it becomes his therapist, and basically through a bunch of frustration and him growing. Yeah. The point is Jason Segel becomes like a rebel therapist where he does like everything you shouldn't do. He just kind of follows his instinct. Yeah. And he takes Sean to go join an MMA gym, and he's like, why don't we get your aggression out this way? Yeah. He speaks more frankly than he probably should to other clients.
He told one of the women he was, he's in love with her or kind of has a crush. You know the first one?
I don't think he's a crush on her, but I think he says like he's just frustrated with her. He says like if you don't leave your abusive husband, I'm gonna not be your therapist anymore.
I thought he wanted to date her.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong because I kind of entered it in the wrong spot. But there's that.
But yeah, it's like so a therapist generally has to like listen and ask questions and not give you their thoughts. But he's like, I'm kind of done with that. I'm gonna give you my thoughts, and he tells her he's like, your husband's an abusive asshole. You need to fucking leave him.
Yeah. Oh, I remember because I actually listened to Jason Segel. I've listened to Conan Needs a Friend, and he was on it. Okay. And he talked about the show, and even he was like saying it's like he's base enough doing what therapists are not supposed to do. Yeah. Because in a way, therapists kind of do this too to kind of get you to keep coming back, so they can make money. Which I was like, ooh.
That's kind of a cynical way of seeing it. I think it's funny. Sometimes I want my therapist to speak frankly to me. Like I'm like, but sometimes you do need that. You need to get there yourself because sometimes you need like the realization to come from within. And it's really powerful when you have that moment of revelation and you're
my counselor,
oh shit.
Yeah, my counselor, she will listen to me and then I'm like, okay, cool. Here's my solution. And I have a feeling this is what I'm probably going to do. I just need you as a sounding board and I'll just say it. And she's like, yeah, you're pretty much like 90% there. And I'm like, yes.
And so, I don't want to talk about it too long. We're going to record a different episode. So I think we should cut it off soon. I'm actually going to record a thing right now that you're going to listen to for the second time. I'm going to cut it in before. Yeah. And now we're back.
Oh, I do know. Wait. If you're going to give Apple money, go to patreon.com/let's wing it and then sign up for a Patreon. Yeah.
We'll just have shared passwords.
Should we?
We'll get in so much trouble. Oh my God.
No, just go there and then you can listen to
the
warm up wings.
Wing warm up.
Yeah, wing warm up and then just have there. So have some fun. And actually and also I post random updates there.
I know. I need to fucking figure out the login.
You keep saying that. This is like
I know. Look, I just don't do much.
It's fine.
I do so much. I just can't.
It's fine. I keep stoking that fire. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. That's fine.
Well, on that note, let's call it there for this episode.
Yeah. So
follow us at They're Just Wing It.
No, let's wing it pod
at Gmail. No, on Twitter.
On Twitter and Instagram. Okay. And I think TikTok too, but
let's
whatever.
Wing It 22 at gmail.com.
Let's wing it 22 at gmail.com. And then now Patreon. Patreon.com/let's wing it.
Shit, get us some sauces, baby.
Getting some sauces. How many sauces we have left?
I think 2 more, 3 more.
Oh my God.
Well, hopefully they're all better than this one. Shout out.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Bye.